All right, business owners. So the question is, where is your quit resolve? Where are you at in your organization and in yourself where quitting is no longer an option? And the reason why I asked this is because I talked to a client. He said that it was okay that I shared his story as long as I don't mention his name in hopes to help others. And that is, he came to us about a month ago burdened with the reality of the supply chain not being able to get what he needed to produce his product, and yet he still had employees, and so he was starting to work them less. They were starting to leave. The ones he did have were costing him more than he was able to generate, and all of a sudden he was telling me that quitting was his only option. And I know some of us may feel like that, like quitting is it, but we dove further down into his reality and realized that he had personally guaranteed hundreds of thousands of financial borrowed money from banks, and if he didn't pay it, he's going to lose everything. He had family debt that was more than he would care to want to lose to them, and we realized together that his only reality was to retreat forward, right? That giving up was not an option. And it was in that resolve that a few things started to click that I hope you can get, is that all of a sudden we had to take our ego off the table. We had to take anything that was potentially we were afraid of that might be embarrassing or maybe downsizing some egos, and we had to take that off the table. But it was also so freeing for that realization to, man, we have to do whatever it takes. Giving up is not an option. And I don't know if you've ever heard that story where they they were going to attack a foreign land, and the leader of the army said he burns the ships. And they're like, man, that's the only way we can get back. And he says, I know. There's no going back. The only way is into this almost inevitable death in front of us. But all of a sudden, it sparked a courage and a reality to his men that going backwards was not an option. And I can relate in my life where I went through a season where, man, my wife and I, we weren't getting paid. It was net 45 terms. Eventually, we were still waiting on the check at 168 days. And it was, there was a growth phase for us, and we were millions in debt. And we had a payroll of 100,000 every 2 weeks. And we were broke. Then we were broker. Then the brokest I've ever been, and then what was still in front of us. And I remember that agonizing feeling of realizing, like, man, I have everything on the line. I have to do whatever it takes to get through. And that was the only thing that's given us success that we have today. Right? And I appreciate the fact that I had my wife, someone in your life with you that you can be totally transparent with, someone in your organization that says, man, we have to do this. We have to find a way, and we're going to make it regardless of what happens. We will win this fight. And I'm telling you, that is the superpower that as a business owner you'll start to appreciate, is your ability of what you went through, came out of it, and became who you are today. So if you're in that season, know this is going to pass. You will find a way. You will get through this, and you will appreciate the power that you guarantee. I promise you, none of us really appreciate the power that we really have within ourselves. So don't give up. Don't use it as an option. If that's not an option, realize that retreating forward is your only way out, and find a way, because I know you can. And if you don't have somebody in your life and you need somebody, let me be that person, because I've done it before. I have the muscle. I know what it's like. So this is a season of hope and a future. All right? Own that. And I appreciate what you're doing. All right? Don't give up.